It's more just like.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
How are we? Hello. How's things? Good. So I used to be able to do this without the goggles on. It's terrible, I've got to tell you. Anyway. All right, we're good to go? Yeah? Okay. So good morning everyone. Assistant Commissioner Michael Granger is my name. I work for Victoria Police in our Western region, which covers about 60% of the state's landmass and covers the area around Daisy Hill near Maryborough, where tragically a 39-year-old male was shot by police last night. Police had received a number of calls in respect to shots being fired in the vicinity of Menzies Drive in Daisy Hill, which is just near Maryborough. One of these reports included a male who came to police indicating that he'd been confronted by a person and that person had shot at him, missing him narrowly. As a result, local police attended the address and ascertained that shots had been fired inside a shed in Menzies Drive. It was ascertained that the 39-year-old person, who is now sadly deceased, whilst living in Menzies Drive, did not reside at the address where the shed was located and where shots had been fired. At this stage, we don't believe the people who owned the shed had any involvement, nor did they know that the deceased person was actually in their shed. The man hid inside the shed when police attended, making threats to shoot those police and also indicating that he had a knife and bomb/explosives at his disposal. And he wasn't keen at all on engaging with police, who attempted to negotiate with him, but unfortunately could not. Our specialist resources in the form of the Critical Incident Response Team, our Special Operations Group and our K9, our dog squad, attended the premises in an effort to safely resolve the matter and negotiate with the male. Unfortunately, a confrontation occurred just prior to 10 p.m, where the male exited the shed, produced a firearm and shot at police. Sadly, they were forced to respond, exchange gunfire with him, and at this time he is deceased. No police or other members of the community were injured in that exchange, although, as I said earlier, certainly members of the public were incredibly concerned by the behaviour that was occurring in that address, which led us to be there. At this time, police have cordoned off that area and are treating the location as a crime scene. Investigation primacy is held by our specialist investigators at the Homicide Squad, overseen by Professional Standards Command, and investigations are ongoing. So the information, I guess, that I can provide you is limited. There are no ongoing threats to the public. We understand, obviously, that the community is incredibly concerned about instances like this. This is something no police officer certainly wants to be involved in when they're at work. I must reiterate, I guess, that the police members undergo very rigorous firearms and operational tactics training on how to deal with armed offenders and with the safety of the community and our officers as a number one priority. It's incredibly sad for everyone involved. At this stage, we have not confirmed the identity of the 39-year-old male that is deceased. As I said, investigations are ongoing. The state coroner has been advised, and I understand is attending the scene this morning, and will work closely with and direct the homicide investigations ongoing. What I can say to everyone is that that scene is secure. We are not looking for any other offenders. The community is safe. If there are members of the community that do have information that may be relative to this incident, I ask that they give our Crime Stoppers line a call on 1800 333 000, where they can submit a confidential report if they wish, or go online and do the similar reporting. So that's the circumstance as it stands at this time.
When this man exited the shed, how many shots were fired at police before they returned fire?
I can't tell you that. The truth is the investigation is ongoing. Our ballistics and crime scene experts are at the scene at present, and their examinations, along with interviews being conducted with witnesses to the event and those directly involved in the shooting, will in time, I guess, reveal detail like that.
But it was a number of shots rather than one single shot?
I can say that a number of shots were fired in the exchange with police, but who fired what at what time, I cannot tell you.
And you mentioned before that there was a man who had a shot that sparked all of this, narrowly missing him.
Yeah.
How is his state at the moment? How's he faring psychologically?
Yes, well, as you can imagine, whilst physically uninjured, psychologically this is an incredibly stressful situation for him to have been confronted with. I understand he's being cared for by those close to him. Police have certainly engaged closely with him to support him through what will be an extended process, I would imagine.
How many members returned fire and how many shots did they need to...
Again, I can't tell you. I can tell you that there were 2 police members in close proximity to the offender who was firing shots, but again the investigation will reveal in full and before the coroner the finer detail.
And what type of firearm did he have?
Well, it's alleged that it's some form of homemade firearm. My reports last night were that it was a shotgun. I'm not in a position to confirm further than the fact that we suspect it's a homemade firearm.
And he made claims that he had explosives and a knife. Did he in fact have those items?
Again, our investigators are at the scene, our ballistics and crime scene services experts are at the scene, and that will all be revealed in time.
The man that was narrowly missed, was he a homeowner?
I can't say.
The man that was narrowly missed, did he say that he knew this particular offender and whether or not there was any information as to what sparked all of this and
No.
sparked his man's actions?
Look, I'm terribly sorry, but at this point it's probably way too early to surmise. I don't have that information at my disposal, and it would be wrong of me to surmise.
Was the man?
That man is? The other man?
The victim? No, I can tell you that the deceased is a 39-year-old male. I understand the witness is an older male, but I don't have an age.
Does it appear that the man who was killed was living in the shed?
No, he was a visitor to the shed, and by that I mean he was unknown to the owners of that shed. He lived in the vicinity thereof, on the account I have at present, and was in that shed for an unknown reason.
Was he already known to police?
No.
Did
Was
he?
the shed, sorry,
Sorry.
was the shed far from a house on that property, or how can you shed light on how far it was? If it was?
No, look, I'm not in a position to declare that either. I can say that the deceased, if our detail around his identity is correct, lived nearby, but I couldn't give you, a distance.
So he had a fixed address, the man who was shot dead?
I can't tell you that. I'm sorry.
It's been reported that he had some form of disability, was going into surgery, was in a lot of pain. Does it appear that this is going out in a blaze of glory, or some rage fit, shaking fist at the sky sort of thing?
The behaviour certainly seems to be unusual, I can say that. In terms of the level of detail that you're reporting, again, I think the investigation will tease that out. I'm not prepared to comment about that.
Is there any suggestion that he has any affiliation with any outlaw motorcycle gangs?
Not that I'm aware of.
During the siege, did he make any demands?
He certainly made threats, and he certainly wasn't enamoured with the presence of police. He wanted us to leave. But of course, given the fact that he was on a premises that he didn't own, we couldn't do that.
Did he have any hostages?
Again, I can't say at this stage. The investigation will reveal that, but I don't have any reports before me at present that indicate that a hostage was located.
So in terms of the owners of that shed, were they home at the time?
No.
What was held in that shed?
Don't know.
We've been given some suggestions that he might have lived across the road from this and this was his friend's shed.
Okay.
Is that correct? Or-
I'm not in a position to confirm or deny that. I'm so sorry.
Were there any drugs found in the premises?
Not that I'm aware of. I'm so sorry, guys. I can't give you much more than that, you know. All right. Appreciate your time, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.